Hello, welcome. In this lecture, let us discuss about Git clone and we will practically understand step by step how you can do the clone. Before that, we have also discussed about what is GitHub and why developers use it. Also creating the account on the GitHub and understanding the authentication using HTTPS and also using SSH. And also we have understood generating and adding the SSH keys. Right, these are the things we have already discussed, and some of these things are prerequisite as well. When you run a command called git clone and provide the URL, what exactly happens is it will copy the remote repository which is on the GitHub to your local machine or a local repository. When it does that, it not only copies the file, it also copies the commit history, branches, tags, right, all those things. Here remote repository we are going to use a GitHub, but there are other repositories such as GitLab, Bitbucket, etc. So basically git clone will copy the repository from remote location to your local machine so that you can work on that. And when it is copying, it will also copy the history of those files. What are the changes which has been done on that file earlier? This cloning is required because when we work on a live project, you do not directly edit or modify the files on the remote repository, right? You clone the files to your local PC and then you make a modification and then you push it back. That will be the process. If you are cloning a public repository, there is no special access required. Anyone can freely clone it. But if you want to clone the private repository, then only authorized users can clone the repository. You need access either using HTTPS, that is personal access token, or using SSH key. And also under the settings for that particular directory, your username need to be added as a collaborator or a team member, right? Then only you can clone the private repository. For our illustration purpose, we will be using a public repository that we have already created earlier. First thing is, before cloning, let me open the GitHub account. This is our GitHub account. Here are our repositories. These are the two repositories that we have created. If I go into this particular repository, here when you click on this button code, you will get the URL. You can either use HTTPS or SSH, and I will copy this URL, HTTPS URL. So here I will create one sample folder. I just name it as remote repo something. Okay, and now in this folder you can open the command prompt or a terminal, right? Then you just have to run the command git clone. Then you need to run the command git clone and provide the URL that you have copied. Then press enter. It is cloning. You can see here it has done cloning test repo 2. Test repo 2 is a this particular repository name, test repo 2. If I go into that folder now, you can see test repo is under this folder remote repo. We have downloaded this. It is cloned test repo 2. If you just enable the hidden file viewing here, command shift dot, you can see it is also copied some hidden files which are having the history or the details of all the modifications that has happened on that files earlier. So git clone not only copies the files, our actual files are only these two, one text file or one JS file or JavaScript file, but it also copied this hidden files history. These hidden files will contain history and other details, commit details, etc. Now if I run git remote -v, it will show the repository address. I need to remote repo folder. I need to go inside this test repo 2. I need to go inside this test repo 2 folder. Now if I run this command git remote v, it will show here remote repository URL, because once you clone the repository, it will contain all the details, right? Similarly, if I run this git log, it will show the details of all the earlier commits. See, earlier we have done these commits using this particular user ID and this particular email, right? So that commit is showing here, first commit and second commit. All this history is available. Also, if you want to view the log in graphical format, you can give git log -online -graph. git log hyphen hyphen online hyphen hyphen graph, it will show commit in proper format. If you have more merges and more commits, then you will be able to visualize it in a better way. Right now we only have two commits, first commit and a second commit, so it will not make much difference, right? But this command will be useful when you have lot of commits, lot of merges which have already happened on this particular repository. So what we have understood is git clone copies your repository along with its history and other things to your local machine or a local repository. It will automatically create a local git repository so that you can start working locally on that particular code, and once you are done you can push it back to the remote repository for collaboration purpose. Then someone will verify it and then they will merge it with the main branch. That one we will see later in the course. Thank you for watching.